he was before. Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Oh.
I told her to turn her volume off. Oh, wait. Okay, good.
Yep, that's a thing.
Court of Bones.
Oh, my goodness. Courtney and Willow, hi. Good morning. Hi, Solifan. Mr. Josh Strobel.
Josh Strobel. Always a pleasure. So this morning, I woke up naturally at like 8:30-ish.
That means you're old.
But I had a cat. Our little baby kitten was like curled up on me, and I tried to like entice him to come back and lay with me, and he did. And then I fell back asleep, and then I got up at 9, and he had moved up to my chest, and like he like meowed at me. He was on my back before, and he like laid down and put his head down and just closed his eyes and went to sleep. And I was like, okay, I'll stay here a little longer. And then I had like a last chance alarm go off at 10, and he was just passed out with his head right here, just like eyes closed, just gone, purring. And I was like, oh man.
Can't move a sleeping cat.
But at 9, from like 9 to 10,
Courtney, I'm sorry. That's early.
From 9 to 10 a.m. I had like fever dreams. Like,
because you were
yeah, it was weird. I was dreaming
your brain was awake.
I've mostly forgot them now, but I just remember just like weird shit. Not like nightmare fuel, but like, you know,
nonsensical.
It could go nightmare at any given turn. It was weird. But I had a cat, and it was adorable. He's yeah. So as we said last week, you know, we lost our elder son, Obama the cat, and we were worried that our little baby cat would cry a lot.
He's 5, by the way, but we still call him the baby.
Because, you know, he was like really good friends with Obama, and it looks like he just, I guess, cat law or whatever, like he noticed that his brother was gone, and he just stepped up to it and just enjoys being like the head of the cats. I don't know. He's like a different cat. It's kind of nice. He doesn't cry that we can tell for the loss of his friend, but like
it's so hard to tell because he does cry for our attention a lot.
But he just sprawls all over me, purring all the time. Like, it's so cute. Like, he stepped up his game to like take care of us, which is really nice. So
funny story. Like some of our best friends, they got 2 male cats, and they named them after oh my god,
Joe Biden.
No, not Biden. Their names are Odin and Biden. But not because of Joe Biden, because of the, I'm like blanking, I'm like Norse, white people stuff. Anyway, so for a minute, you know, we had Obama and Biden in our like little circle of cat names. Man, my brain is not fully firing yet. It takes me a long time to wake up. Also... Oh, there's a sleeping corgi.
Yeah, so dog cam was the original purpose, which became cat cam for many of the past streams, and now we're back to dog cam. So there's Schnitzel. Hi, Schnitzel.
Doing about the only thing he does, which is sleep.
Hi, buddy. Are you alive?
Schnitzel. Yep. Okay, his eyes opened. Yeah, we're good.
He's old.
Yeah. He is. He's quite old.
Oh, buddy.
I forgot to check that Luna is, like, conscious today.
You can
Did
check
you see her?
No, but you can check after this.
No! She's my senior kitten.
You turn the coffee off?
No.
Hey, Google. Turn off the coffee.
I could have physically gone out there and turned it off and checked on my cat.
Stopping the coffee.
That's so cool. I recommend everybody get a Google or Alexa enabled coffee pot. You just make coffee before you go to bed, and the second you open your eyes, you tell her to start, and then you got coffee in like 5 minutes. By the time you get out of bed and walk to the kitchen, it's good. It's good.
Super fancy.
Yeah, Josh, that's the best part about being quarantined, self-quarantined, let's say, for like 16 months, is we've just been upgrading everything in our apartment because we're here all the time. So instead of going out and spending money at bars and restaurants, we just buy smart lights and stuff for the apartment and furniture. Like this Wait.
Yes, you could just have a timer on the coffee, for sure.
Yeah, but what happens if you want to sleep in a little bit? Like you put a timer at 9 a.m. and you decide you want to snooze until 9:30 and your coffee will be a little burned. This allows you to start it at the precise time you get up out of bed. It's awesome. So this beanbag, you can kind of see here, is on its last days. It will be replaced with a lovely couch, which I hope to use for a change of scenery for working. And I want to shoot some YouTube videos for Doomtrooper. I'm hoping that with a plant and the paintings and stuff behind me, that I can set up a really good angle on the couch, and I can sit and talk to the camera a little bit and do some videos about stuff people ask me about, like how did I get the rights to Doomtrooper?
Story time?
Basically, yeah. Like the blog post I used to do, but less technical and more friendly. Offering some advice that I learned for how and when to go to a convention and show off your game, techniques to help maximize the amount of people that come in, things you can do, that kind of thing.
Josh's comment. It's a change of scenery. Yeah, it is. Also,
that could also be a porn joke.
We're way too old to have a beanbag. Now, the beanbag is a very expensive beanbag.
This beanbag is worth more than the couch I ordered, and the couch folds out into a queen-size bed. So that tells you this beanbag is stupid.
It's great. It's one of the coziest things that you can have. I don't think normal-sized beanbags are the same at all. This is just, it takes a whole adult human can fit on this. But we just decided that it's just time for us to not have that. You want me to touch the camera?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
It's on like a ball joint.
Are you sure? I don't want to break it.
Rotate it. Yeah. Beanbag!
Yeah.
It's so great, though.
But we are, I hate to say this next sentence, but we are almost 40, which is really painful to say. But yeah, we decided that it's about time to adult up a little bit. It is a bean bed. No, him and I cuddle on it together all the time. Like one of the cats will come over and we'll all three like sit on the thing. This isn't like your normal bean bag. Plus it's got like are you okay?
Yeah.
See, now this is what happens when you're 38 on a bean bag. Do you see? Can you get up?
Yeah. Also, the dog came to see me. Also, I have a projector, like, I bought for $70 on the wall up here. So it's really cool to, like, sit over there and watch YouTube
Justin, now
something.
all your boxes of shame are in frame. Were they like that before?
Yeah.
Oh.
You're just blocked by your head.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The dog came to see me. He thought I was hurt. Wearing shoes inside myth confirmed. These are slippers, actually. These are house slippers, but
they are.
I do tend to wear something on my feet all day because we have hardwood floors, and it just, like, my feet will start to hurt by the end of the day.
Really? I wear socks all the time just because we have cats and there's litter that gets...
Oh, Willow got a standing desk.
Legit, this is a standing desk.
Yeah, this is an IKEA countertop mounted on an IKEA standing desk, and I drilled holes in the bottom, so it technically goes up and down. However, I rarely put it up because I'm lazy lately.
We Americans love wearing their shoes indoors for whatever reason. We do. When I go to someone's house, or at least I'm used to it now, but like younger me, if I went to someone's house and they were like, "Can you take your shoes off?" I was always just like, "What the fuck?"
I mean, Josh, do you have carpet or hardwood?
Barefoot American here. Till I saw the beanbag. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, that wasn't your like smoothest moment ever. Trying to get out of the beanbag.
Yeah, I just find that my feet, like the balls and heel of my feet, like if I'm pacing back and forwards a lot all day, it just eventually
he
gets
does
to me.
on all phone calls.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hey, and I do look good for 38, humble toy maker. Come on.
Woo! You barefooted to walk the dog a mile. So not anymore. When I lived in Florida, I actually was barefoot or in sandals all the time, like 100% of my life. Not so much these days, since living out here in California.
Is it just me, or is dog cam kind of depressing?
What do you want from him? He's a senior. I don't even know why you set it up. I was surprised when I saw the second camera
Because we
set
spent
up.
a lot of time and money getting this camera set up working. Like, yeah.
I don't know.
Did you make sure to invest in a good mat to stand on? Apparently makes a massive distance. Yeah. I was standing on the bed that the dog is on. It's like a foam bath mat, but I don't think it was good enough. I should probably try buying an actual foam made for standing, but I just haven't done it yet. But that's a good call. That's a good call.
Hi, Matano.
Hey, Matano.
Ciao.
That's the only Italian word I know, I think.
Grazie.
There's all like the Italian jokes that they do on Family Guy, but I'm pretty sure that those aren't real Italian words.
They're not.
What does he say? He says bibbidi boppity all the time.
Yeah, he does. He does.
I'm like, that's not real.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. So, yeah, that's my beanbag story.
It's gibberish. It sure is. I sorry. It's really... He's like, bibbidi bobbidi. Oh, it's so bad.
I forgot where I was going with that.
Yeah, you definitely take a sip of coffee for that.
So I was going to mention something about Doomtrooper.
Is that why we're here?
So, it's...
Hold on, I have to fix this again. It's like... Okay, continue on. I did it. Continue on.
Don't move, or she'll touch my hair. So when I started this game, I started it as like a game for the people, which means like I was very frustrated when I hated something with Hearthstone or Magic, but there was no one you could talk to about it. There was no one you could thanks, Buck. There's nobody that you could say. You just go online and it's just a bunch of angry people fighting with each other about card balance. And then for the past couple years, I've found myself creating a community where a bunch of angry people just sit around fighting about card balance. And I guess I don't know why I didn't expect that. But like I always say, you guys can't agree on anything. But I feel like over the past... There's a but here. I feel like over the past like 4 weeks, a good portion of you guys have... like turned a corner, and all of a sudden I don't know what I did to like make you guys realize that your voice matters, because from my perspective, I've always wanted you guys to like speak up and help, but I think maybe I didn't acknowledge it enough.
It's the heart of card games, arguing on game balance.
I think I didn't acknowledge, like I think what happens is the same thing that happened in the past with people like Steve and Chris and anyone who's helped officially with the game, is they have really great ideas and they get frustrated that I don't get them in fast enough. But the game is pretty solid right now, so it's entirely possible that one of you might show up and say, here's a great idea, and you could see it the next day. And I think that might be what's making everybody feel more like acknowledged. And, correct me if I'm wrong.
That makes sense, though.
But in the last couple of weeks, Michael's been kicking ass as always for making sure that the bugs are wrangled, and I know what my priorities are. Thorgal has been helping with tons of stuff, especially the deck structure. Mm-hmm. So he's been designing the starter decks that we're going to use, which I don't have time to do usually. And then
Willow has been helping with card art.
Willow has been helping with card back art. And then Tomek has been designing tons of cards, and some of them have made it into the game, and you guys have been arguing about his designs, which is exciting.
That's not your design.
That's not me. It's not Brian. It was all Tomek.
Sorry. Take it up with Tomek.
I don't know if he's here, but Billy Bob has been...
Oh, my God.
He's amazing. So let me tell you a story about Billy Bob. Billy Bob shows up in Discord, and he does this, like, complete mock-up of what something would look like. Let's see if I can... Basically this. And he was like, it would be really cool to have this map design where you move around, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it would. We've been thinking about this forever. Like,
and then
his mock-up is amazing.
And then he shows up later, and he has another one that's really, really cool, and he has a bunch of ideas for the tutorial, and I hit him up, and I'm like, hey, man, like, we don't have a UX designer on the team right now, and this art that you made is really cool. If you would like to help and design some stuff, like, we could probably come up with some new features together. And his response was something like, yeah, I mean, I'm not that good with Photoshop, plus I'm really unreliable.
I love that honesty, though. I cracked up when Justin told me that because I was like, wow, that's so refreshing.
Yeah, he was just like, I would love to, but I'm really unreliable. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But then he shows up again and has more cool stuff. And then
he keeps dropping these like art files that I'm just like.
So he shows up.
What?
This week.
Hey, Flana.
He shows up this week, and he's like, "Oh, I wrote a tutorial. I think the math works out, but let me know if not." And there's this entire document.
Look at this shit
of the tutorial. And what you can't see there is he also showed up with story to go with it.
He like wrote copy and fiction and like I'm like, wow, for someone who's unreliable, you sure come through.
I am best when I am writing code. Like,
that is Justin's wheelhouse.
I know how to balance, I know how to design, I know how to do basic Photoshop work. But CSS, the side of code that makes everything pretty, I can do that too, but it's not my forte. What my forte is logic and a little bit of graphics and like coding animations and stuff, like really making the engine.
JavaScript.
Yeah, the engine itself. So I've been
right. Josh says I'd kill for folks that unreliable. I know.
So I really thought that
forte
I would not be able to design a good tutorial, because you have to say, like, you have 3 actions and 5 destiny, so you play a card, now you have 2 actions and 2 destiny, and then you do another card that gives you destiny, now you only have 1 action, and you have to like map it out like a spreadsheet. And my knowledge of cards is not as good as a designer, because all he would do was spreadsheets of cards, and it's not as good as you guys, because you guys play the game. So when Billy Bob, which is a Discord name, shows up with this, I was just like, holy shit, pardon my French. He's got the math and everything. And the story is basically some heretics go to the Luna City Cathedral, and I might get this wrong. If he's here, he can correct me. And they're stealing something, and they get busted by the cartel guards. And then they like buff themselves up, and they kill one of the cartels, and the other one's almost dying. But then the Brotherhood Inquisition shows up and helps wipe them out. But then a big metropolitan prophet, bad guy, shows up, and there's like a big little battle. And you use lots of cards to buff your guys and debuff the opponents to learn the basics of everything, and you end up chasing away the Dark Legion away from the cathedral, and you win, and you get some rewards. And it teaches you basically how to play cards, how to fight, how to do interrupts, how to earn destiny points, how to attach cards to other cards, all the stuff that's missing in the current tutorial. It's really all there. It's super exciting. So I just really I feel like the whole project turned a corner in terms of stability and stuff that I've done on the back end, which allows me to move faster on new things. And then the people like you guys contributing. And even if you're not contributing design and stuff, you have people like Matano and Matt who are contributing. Like Matt is churning out videos on YouTube. Like, just like my videos, we don't get 1 million views yet, but it helps. And Matano, he gets a fair amount of people who show up to watch him play Doomtrooper. And as the game gets bigger and bigger, his crowd will grow, Matt's viewer count will grow. Like, they're kind of like leading the charge for the social outreach, which is going to be a big focus of the rest of the year. So, and even people who just break the game. We had somebody, his name is Evrine, Evrine in Discord. I don't know if you're here. He or she, they only show up when they catastrophically break something. But that is hugely helpful, because they show up, they're like, here's what I did, here's a screenshot, here's the game I was playing. And then they leave. And A, that helps me fix things. And B, they keep playing. Even though the game crashed hardcore for them, they still go back and keep playing, which helps me in terms of code, fix everything, but it also helps my morale because even though the game completely shit the bed on them,
wow,
they will go back and keep playing. And that means that I know we don't have a perfect game here, but if the game can literally crash, and you guys know I don't use that word often, but I have a crash screenshot. It can literally crash, and then they go back and keep playing afterwards. To me, that means that we have a pretty cool core product here, and community and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my rant. I'd like to acknowledge Courtney for holding down team morale. Very true. Flana for boosting my morale and calling me a stud. That always helps, and then I work harder. And Willow said that we could always have someone else refine his ideas. Yes, that's why I used UX and not UI. So he could come up with an idea, and he could be like, oh, this is how, like the tutorial, this is how step A, step B, step C is going to work. And then someone like, say, Willow could help me with the actual graphics and the finalization and getting it into the game. And that is perfect. A lot of times I have really basic ideas, and I wish I could give them to someone like Billy Bob. I think it's Max Rez is his game name. I could give it to him, and he could put together like a flow chart and the math. And then we agree on that, and we give it to someone like Willow, and she makes it look freaking beautiful. And then it comes back to me, and I implement it in code. And like that flow is freaking amazing. And then after it's in code, you guys play it and you give us feedback on what you like and what you don't like, and we tweak it until it's perfect. And if we could do that for every feature of the game, I would be so stoked. Like the company would make so much like money that I would just be hiring everybody full time. I'd be stealing you away from your great day jobs, and you just sit around designing Doomtrooper stuff all day long, and it would be glorious. But
the blonde hair has moved the needle firmly to stud territory.
I don't know how to.
Hair.
I don't know how to do it.
That's about right. But keep your eyes open. You look drunk when you're.
No, I look.
All right,
no,
you're not.
No,
it's
no,
not working.
It doesn't work for me.
We need to go over that. Willow says she feels terribly unreliable with this project.
Yeah, well, you are top 5 for sure most reliable people on the project, Willow. So don't worry. Billy Bob is like number 2 right now, Mr. Unreliable himself. So he needs to figure out what unreliable means. I got hair.
It's just the blonde hair.
I know, everywhere. The hair's in my mouth now. You remind me of 80s hair metal rock star. I'll take it. 80s, 90s, you know. I was going for 90s, but it kept growing, so now it's
so long that it's I mean, it's...
Yeah.
It's into 80s territory for sure.
Don't count on it? Wait, 2Matt, are you Billy Bob in Discord? No, you're not. What is happening? What am I not counting on? I'm confused. I am going to get a haircut after I'm fully vaccinated, and I'm going to...
Figuring out...
I'm going to chop like all this stuff off. So it'll look more 90s after I cut it, I think. But I'm having fun. You know, I'll catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and I feel like I need to like yell like a high note. Oh, figuring out their yeah. We're all unreliable in our own ways, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to do one more pass with blonde. I want to dye it one more time. That's what I think. I want to dye it one more time because it's a little brassy in certain areas, and I want to get rid of that.
Yeah, we're gonna.
His roots are already coming through.
I'm gonna chop it a little bit, and then I'll let her re-dye it blonde, and then I'm torn on dyeing it a crazy color before I cut it off, or leaving it blonde and like just cutting the sides and having like a mohawk thing going on for a while with like half blonde, half black hair.
You can do all of that with the color though too. I don't feel like it'll stop you.
But I like the idea of having side short with blonde hair.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Whoa.
There's like a really cool punk rock.
Put your forehead up to the camera again. It's so weird when you do that.
There's a really cool like punk rock mohawk, you know, half black or brownish, half blonde hair. Like it looks messy and cool, in my opinion. Anyways, just got my hair bleached and dyed. Really? Is it long? Court said, what crazy color? Going with the Kurt Cobain theme, I was going to do like a magenta, like Spin Magazine.
The cover of Spin Magazine.
Rotano says, about Doomtrooper, I'm more focused on the meta gameplay, trying to spot everything that breaks the game. It's good.
Testing. Good. Ooh, red, blue, and green. All the things.
Oh, no. Hex colors? Great.
Oh, goodness. Great. What a nerd.
Yeah, so there are a few bugs. Very few, though. They pop up. I was going to show that, too. So...
Oh, Josh has provided a photo of his hair. Okay. Look at that.
So, this is
How does your pillowcase look, sir?
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, I can bring that up.
Wow. Oh, his wife did this?
Look at this handsome viewer.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Those glasses are cool.
I was just going to say, like, those glasses are so retro looking. Oh, my God.
All right. Josh.
Oh, my goodness.
You can be the most handsome man on my stream. I'll allow it.
100% need to make sure you get a black one. You're putting a fucking towel down over your pillow. If we dye your hair a color, it's going to get... Our sheets are cream colored. So I'm like, oh my God, he's going to destroy them. Ugh.
Anyways.
I want a rocket pop now.
I just wanted to show you guys, because I talk about this a lot. So I haven't cleaned these up yet, but these are all of the errors. And I use errors in air quotes because a lot of them are false positives. They're things that like... So this main one that happens all the time, the second one, it says 307 cards not found. So that happens when somebody tries to select a deck and it's like setting itself up for the first time. So it's not really an error. So I have to go through and like get rid of that so that it's not clogging my error view. But if you look at the server, which hopefully this isn't too embarrassing, it's a lot more groomed up, and I see errors that I need to worry about. And I can go down to like the last 24 hours and I can see what I need to worry about. And it's really kind of helpful.
This is Sentry.io.
Yeah, Sentry. Oh, my keyboard shut off.
Whoa, yeah, I'm like, you're not typing there. So I can do it. Oh.
Julie's got it. I love Sentry, and I will gladly give them my money. And I do currently. Their functionality is great. So I was going to say... So in the last... No, it's not there, damn. I think it might have been this one. So we had a crash earlier today, and I can come in here, and it actually shows me, because we have it set up properly, the actual line that it crashed on.
It's hard to see.
Yeah. I know it's kind of hard. I can make it a little bigger. But, like, this is the actual line it crashed on, and it gives me kind of a call stack and information about what happened, and it allows me to... really quickly get a pretty close idea of what the problem is. And I was really proud of myself because this week I saw a really bad crash show up on the list, and I typed it into the bug report channel saying that I was acknowledging it, and like 5 seconds later somebody reported it. So I was actually aware of the bug before somebody reported it, which is great. And anybody who works in tech also knows that for every bug report you get, there are a whole bunch of bug reports that nobody reported. Maybe they just refreshed and kept going, or maybe it pissed them off, they quit, and they'll never play your game again. So, or your project again, or whatever it is. So having something like Sentry set up has been a godsend. And I'll thank Invader. Invader set most of it up originally, and I've been spending a lot of time tweaking it. I didn't show everything down at the bottom because I don't know how much sensitive data is there, but you can attach context to it. So at the bottom, if it's set up properly, it'll tell me the user ID of the player, their username, just so I know who they were, and their game ID, the action they were trying to do. Everything will be cleanly attached at the bottom. And I can get exactly the info I need to fix the bug faster. But it requires setup. Totally worth it, though. I think the time you spend setting up something like Sentry to find your bugs, you will save tons of time on fixing them, and you'll save tons of players who may have quit otherwise because they found a bug and don't appreciate it.
Earlier...
Yeah. There are literally people who just say, well, surely someone else has reported this, so I won't bother. That is true, and the other problem is people who say, I already reported this like a month ago, so I'm sure they know about it, but it got lost. That happens to me a lot, and I encourage people to keep reminding me of things that are broken. What Matano said, for example, sometimes I can't understand how the priority of certain cards work. So the user experience of understanding things is high on my list. Like, I'm redoing the target select UI, so you can clearly see different, like if there are 3 of the same card on the board and they're attached to 3 different cards, you can clearly see which one you're selecting. And I'm redoing the top right where it shows what cards are played, so you can see the order that they're played. What I would like to do, and I'm still trying to figure out how it works, is if I play a card, it shows up there, and it will stay for like 10 seconds. Or you can click to get rid of it. But then if you respond, it'll show up on top, then my response, then your response, and my response. And it'll show them all in a row as kind of a stack, even though that's not technically how it's working. So you could just mouse over them to see them. And then there'll be a little button you can click that'll just hide them all at once. So it kind of gives the player, if cards are played really quickly in succession, it gives the player the ability to clear them instead of the game accidentally clearing it too early, which will probably help a little bit. And then the priority of cards, I don't know if it's what you meant, but there is trickiness because Doomtrooper has no stack, we've talked about this before, unless the next card played affects the previous one. So Doomtrooper has no stack means a card plays immediately. But then there was a bug reported today where somebody took all your Destiny points and you tried to cancel it by spending Destiny points to cancel it. But since there's no stack, he already took your Destiny points, so you don't have enough to pay to cancel it. So the rules of Doomtrooper, the rules of physical Doomtrooper don't mathematically transfer perfectly to digital, and it's causing some issues. This was immediately apparent with the card Subterfuge, which we've talked about in the past. The original version of Subterfuge says target player discards their hand. So I play that card, no stack, it happens immediately. Your hand is discarded, but then you want to play miscommunication to cancel it, but you can't because it was already discarded. That is a thing we're gonna have to tackle. I would like to have like a shadow of the previous state, if that makes sense. So you take away my Destiny, but the game still knows, well, before you played that, you had 7 Destiny, and it kind of allowed, but there's a lot of code nightmare fuel with that.
Nightmare fuel.
So I don't know if it'll work. Hang on. Sorry, I had to share a private message with my wife. That sounded forward. I had to share a private message with my wife. Anyways, Two Matt says, Justin, you just need a stack. Well, so fun fact, the first version of our interrupt system was a stack, and everybody complained because that's not how Doomtrooper is supposed to work.
Shuck. I'm gonna get more coffee. I'll be back really quickly. Okay.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, but bring still water.
Okay.
So that was a little tricky because the stack causes other errors that aren't apparent until you're in the game playing them. It's just interesting. Just think about it next time you're playing the game or you're playing any card game, and imagine every card, by the rules, in written form, in Doomtrooper, every card resolves immediately. But you're allowed to respond to just that card. Because then you think like, okay, we'll just make a stack that's one length, right? But yeah, but what if you play a card, I miscommunicate it, you miscommunicate my miscommunication, and then I miscommunicate? That's a stack. That's 4. But there is no stack in Doomtrooper according to the rules. So having cards affect only the previous card, if they're chainable, isn't that a stack? So yeah, that's fun. Yeah, so it's the stack code is still in the game, but it hasn't been expanded and tested since it was originally implemented, like over a year and a half ago.
Doggy on the move because I moved. He has to follow me wherever I go. Hi, sweet boy.
I think, like, for example...
Hey, we got cat cam going.
I think, for example, if I play a card that makes me draw 2 cards, they show up in my hand face down. And then after you don't miscommunicate me, they flip. That's so that if you do miscommunicate, I'm not given information on the next 2 cards I'm going to draw. I think that makes sense to people. So we have stuff like that put in place to help with the lack of a stack. So either we can expand that system to work for things like destiny points, or we have to revert back to the stack and then make sure all those weird edge cases also work in stack mode. It's a headache. But we'll be playing with it as we... that and card ownership is going to be kind of a nightmare. You know, like, it's been pretty much decided that I should not be able to steal your warrior and then play a card on it that kills it. I don't know that I agree on that, so there's going to be more discussions in the community and stuff, but to me, stealing a warrior and then destroying it with a card that says I can destroy my warriors, I feel like that's a valid strategy. Like, you played your biggest guy, but I stole it and then destroyed it. Like, that is a combo. That's synergy.
Hi, Matt. Yeah, go ahead. You can share the link here.
And there's a big portion of people who I think rightfully think that shouldn't be possible. But there's another portion of the people that are just mad that you stole their Cardinal Dominic and ate it, basically. Because that's what Doomtrooper is to a lot of people, is playing big, fancy warriors and fighting it out. And I think traditionally in all CCGs, people get really mad at control decks. Because it's really annoying to lose a game when every time you try to play a warrior, somebody destroys it. You don't even get to attack. It's not the most fun, unless you're the guy playing the control deck. So we need to balance, like, is that a valid combo for a control player, or does it violate the spirit and rules of Doomtrooper? The community tends to agree that it violates, but there's ongoing discussion in Discord for sure. It's okay to destroy the controlled warrior, not to obtain ownership of an opponent warrior. Grim Industry, hello.
Hi.
Valid strategy, just make it faction. Now it's generic-y. So that is a valid... So in Magic, control is mostly blue. And in... correct me if I'm wrong, but I think... Isn't the Warlock kind of control-y in Hearthstone? Maybe the Rogue a little bit. I don't know. I haven't played Hearthstone in a while. But typically that strategy is focused to one faction. So I like what Tomek is saying. Like, and Matano. Like, if I can steal your warrior and now I control it, and then another card says target warrior you control is destroyed, I think that's okay. But I think what Matano might be getting at is there's a tax refund, I think, lets me destroy one of my warriors and gain destiny. So I think where I'm leaning, and you guys can fight it out with me, is I'm allowed to steal your warrior and I take it. And I'm allowed to tax refund it and destroy it. But you gain the destiny back because you were the original owner. So that's where I'm leaning. That's where I'm interpreting, but I might not be right there. So you get the destiny back from your guy, but I was able to steal it and destroy it, so I don't have to fight Cardinal Dominic anymore. So I kind of dig that. It's a headache, though. The good news is for all the shit I give Invader, he did program in the card keeps track of original owner and current controller. At least it did. It may have gotten a little messy. So we should be able to do this kind of thing.
I'm trying to figure out what happens at 7.
Just watch it for a few seconds. It shows up.
Is it the at your service thing?
Basically, he does what I'm saying.
Okay.
Power balances you own versus you control. Yeah, we need to do some work on owning versus controlling, and then update the text of some cards. I'm not right with a greater need strategic restructuring combo, even though I use it a lot. Yeah, so strategic restructuring lets you return a card to your hand. So I think you're saying you steal somebody's warrior and return it to your hand. I'm honestly torn on that one because I always thought that was cool. Is a cool benefit of digital. is I can steal your cards to my deck, but when the game is over, you don't have to worry about losing it because it's all digital. So you just get it back. But, I do, like I was saying earlier, we've turned a corner. There's a lot of really great discussions in Discord. And I really think that stuff like this topic getting discussed in Discord is leading towards the solutions. And it's not going to make everybody happy, but hopefully we can make like 70% of people happy and 30% of people angry, but hopefully not angry enough that they stop playing. Yeah. That's the biggest problem we have right now is miscommunication. I lean towards the team of if everybody uses this in every deck and they put the maximum number in every deck, then that's a problem. And we should move it to a faction and make it focused more on that faction. But a lot of people don't want to lose access to that card because it is so important to their strategy.
So maybe
we're just
not 3 per deck?
I mean, we make it restricted and then it's just
like
1 per deck.
2 or 1 per deck?
Yeah, but the laziest thing you can do to balance a card is to make it restricted.
Okay.
It's like, this card's really powerful. We'll restrict it to 1 per deck. Or you could make it not so powerful and make it balanced with the other cards. But that's a lot of work. I don't want to restrict miscommunication, Matano, but I want to either change it so that it's not required in every deck, or move it to a faction so that only that faction is required to have 3 of them.
Wow, I could see that making people really angry, though. If we restrict it.
Did the Fate only nerf fall through? Pretty much everybody seems to hate the Fate nerf. Except me. And you, I guess. The idea was we'll make miscommunication only cancel other Fate cards, whereas currently it can cancel Fate supports and influences, I think, or Fate's influences and conditions. I forgot the 3. But it's basically 1 card that's free to play that can cancel 3 different types of cards. I kind of like the idea of letting the Fate cancel stay general and then moving the other 2 into new cards or abilities in other factions so that it makes more variety in the gameplay and you're not always playing against 3 miscommunications. But there's a lot of heat and drama on that discussion, so yeah.
A lot of heat.
I will say though, Thorgal had some really good points. Is right now the game is kind of balanced, so we don't need to make a change right now. It's not critical.
I'm gonna open the window.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a little warmer.
So that's why I'm not like jumping real quickly to nerf the card. Like, would you rather have me nerf the card and then unnerf the card, or would you rather have me add new cards? I think most people would rather see new cards, which is nice.
Can you raise that up? Like, put this up here? The mic's in the way. Great. Thank you.
You can test some changes temporarily. Correct. I could. I'm toying with ideas to do that. But if there are people who are really trying to like get to the top rank of the season to get a reward for the first time or something, I feel bad like crippling their strategy during that. So I'm hoping that we can do some sort of event mode soon where we can have a game where there are no miscommunications or it's restricted to a faction or something and see how people feel it. But I haven't worked out how exactly to do that. Yeah, but miscommunication can cancel for 0 cost a condition, influence, or fate card. And that's a lot. For free? Especially when you compare it to this new card, Kanji's Lucky Sense, which can cancel only fate cards, but it costs 6 destiny. Now, granted, miscommunication is removed from the game after you play it. Kanji sticks around, so there's a little more balance there, but...
There's like a chihuahua outside now.
There's like a little chihuahua war happening outside our window, apparently. Too mad. Make 5 new cards. Miscommunicate targets 3, 2 types per each card. I mean, yeah, we could make multiple cards, which I'm a fan of. So Courtney asked a good question. Was this a game-breaking card in IRL games? No, technically, but in the original game, all the top players had 60 card decks with about 45 of the cards in every single deck were identical. Every single person used the same 45 cards. And then they cycled in 15 additional cards to make a strategy that was unique to their deck. Well, their deck doesn't need quotes. So that's what we're trying to not go towards. As we add more cards and as we update the game, we never want every top player in the world to be using the same 45 cards in their deck. Yeah, Tomex has 5 miscommunications and 5 inspired and maybe 5 Grinder Island team members and positive karmas, I think, were in there. It was just basically like, what is that? 5 of 9 different cards and then some variety at the top. And I will remove those cards from the game permanently if that's our only option. Like, if we get to that point and all you guys are using the same 45 cards, I will just take those 9 cards and cut them from the game. If I have to. Just so we're clear, because that does not make for a fun game. Also, Courtney, with those 45 cards, every tournament match ended in 2 turns, maybe 3 or less. If you didn't win, if you didn't draw the right combo, you lost. Like, by the 3rd turn, somebody drew the combo, game over. Like, and that's bad.
That doesn't sound fun.
No. It was basically like you block everything from your opponent, you give yourself a bunch of additional actions, and then you play a warrior who can attack multiple times per turn, and you restrict your opponent from having any warriors. So he just attacks the non-defended opponent directly, gets free victory points 5 times in a row, and wins. Like, it was not fun. So, like a normal match of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sure, yeah. If I wanted to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, I would play Yu-Gi-Oh! One thing I was going to say as well is hopefully going to work on this a little bit today or tomorrow for this. If it goes well, I want to push it this update, but there's some UI concerns that are really hard. So Magic does something similar where imagine if I have a Young Guard or Kanji's Lucky Sense on the board. Now those are abilities that I can activate during an interrupt phase, right? But during an interrupt phase, you'll see that no, it's not going to happen right now.
Uh-oh.
Like when the opponent plays a card, you'll see that there's a curtain over the screen. So I can't get to anything right there. I can't get to anything on the board. So currently over here on the right, we pop up a temporary UI that lets you select abilities that are activatable. But what I want to do is put, similar to how Magic Arena does it, I want to shift your hand over to the left and put a little second hand over to the right down here in the lower right corner. That would show abilities or cards that aren't on your hand that are activatable right now. Magic does it really well if a card says you may play this card from your graveyard for 2 mana. So if the card is playable, it will show up as a shadow form next to your hand. And you can play it like a normal card, but you're playing it from your graveyard, not from your hand, which is really cool. So I'm hoping that we can have a similar UI here for activating cards or playing cards from discard pile or annihilate pile or whatever we want. Basically, anything that's playable will be in your hand instead of a weird custom UI somewhere else. And I think that will help people see, because the cards to the left should eventually be even more grayed out if they're not playable. And then cards that show up on the right, you'll immediately know, oh, those are cards that are playable right now from other places. So I think that will help a lot with the UI problems for people who need to think quickly. Is it possible to add the discard pile? If you mean play from discard, we could technically do that. Luna Memorial Hospital is supposed to be played from discard and has a really janky custom UI right now. Custom UI are generally bad, more bugs. If you mean view the discard pile, that violates a core rule of classic Doomtrooper, is you are not allowed to look through your discard pile. But that comes up a lot. So if enough people want to change the rule, we technically could change it. But the current rule states that you can't do that. But yeah, if you look at Luna Memorial Hospital, you may return this card to your hand from your discard pile for 3 actions. So after this update, if instead of turning into Luna Memorial Ruins, which is a separate token, that was just a stopgap because we didn't know how to do the UI. When the card is destroyed, it will go to your discard pile, but during your turn, it will show up in your hand over to the right, and you'll be able to play it like a normal card from your discard pile. So that's something I'm working on that will help the UI quite a bit, I think. You mean look the discard pile in the UI, not browsing it. What's the difference between looking and browsing to you? For a second, I thought you said discard pile and wondered how you did the integration. Wait, now I'm confused. Priority nerfing Book of Law, Marshall, and Nazgaroth. Oh, you'd like to know how many cards are in your discard pile. Yeah, so I think I did that, but maybe it broke. Let me check. I did add the ability, but it's kind of hidden. Yeah, I thought I put it over here. I guess it got broken at some point. But somewhere I put... Oh, wait. No. Damn it. At one point, I did put how many cards in your discard. So this isn't going to stick around, but if you open the debug menu and you type debug, it will show up... Oh, you can't see it. Hang on. It will show up a little box here that shows you how many cards are in each pile and how many player flags you have. It's kind of neat if you're interested in programming. It's going to be hard to see on stream, but it says debug mode, the server you're connected to, how many actions, destiny, and victory points you have, what mode the game is in, whether or not the combat UI is open or not, whether or not the game thinks you should be in combat, which that causes bugs back in the past. What flags your player has or the opponent has. For example, tactical action and whether or not you're allowed to discard yet. Selected card, it says NA, but you'll notice if you click on a card, now it says selected card Undead Legionnaire, and underneath it shows actions. Seek cover, attack fight, attack shoot. That is a work in progress for a new UI where you could click on a warrior or a card in your hand and see a menu for all of the things that that card can currently do. Which, for example, people don't know how to seek cover. What if they just clicked on the card and a menu popped up and it said seek cover and you clicked it and it just happened? So that's a work in progress there. Then there's information about the interrupt, which will tell you how the game is handling the interrupt phases and who currently controls it. And then underneath it, it says 53 deck, discard 0, squad 0, annihilated 0, 7 hand. But if you click it, it expands and it shows you all of the cards and it color codes them based on where they are. So if you want that info right now, you can use this, but the idea, like I said, this kind of violates some of the rules of Doomtrooper, so this won't be around forever, but for debugging, it can be useful. And it also helps to see, like, if it says this card should be annihilated, you can check here to see if the card was actually annihilated. That's what I use it for a lot. I just found
this rad Nephirite pixel art I dropped in the chat. It's really cool. Sorry, keep going. Justin, I thought you would definitely appreciate that. It's cute.
Who made this?
Squarish Pixels. At Squarish Pixels.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I retweeted it. I thought it was really neat. He has other Mutant Chronicles pixel art. It's pretty cool. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I got excited.
How is now with stats? Which faction has the most wins? I have that information, but it is super convoluted for me to get to. So I'm hoping that if I don't introduce any new bugs with any new cards I add this week, that I can spend some time updating my tools. I don't think I want to show the tools necessarily, but... Oh, wow. I mean, yeah. I guess I can show this one. So, I mean, I have something like this where you can see like live games and what's happening, and then I can scroll down through all the games and I can see stuff like, Matt beat Jeramore, Dodger beat Everine. It took 19.24 minutes to play this game, 22 turns. So I could actually add another column here that says average time per turn, which is interesting data. I will say I haven't graphed it yet, but this number has been going down, especially with experienced players. They will play a lot of turns in less minutes, and it's really kind of nice. And then it tells me, like, was it ranked or was it a tutorial or that kind of thing. So I want to expand this to show more charts and graphs about stuff like most played cards, least played cards, and faction statistics, like who's playing what factions and what their win rates are. And I think that will be very helpful. I'm also doing some work on a chart, not a chart, a table that will show me today we had this many registrations, this many games played, and they were broken up into these types. And then yesterday we had this. The day before we had this. And I can see visually a table of the trends of how many games people are playing and when they're playing them.
Thanks for joining our stream, Matano. Have fun on yours.
Yeah. So
well, we do not have the rights to that pixel art, but it is really cool. And we have our own Nephirite pixel art. How is that not one of our emotes on Discord? I think is it?
Yeah, it is.
Can you draw?
It's just Nephirite.
No, I'm sorry. I meant on Twitch. But yeah, we do have it on Discord, actually. It is an emote on Discord.
No, we don't have it.
No, you just made the circles. Like, you can see by my name, there's like the red
Well, we can
cow.
make more. That's the advantage. Book of Law nerf, please. It's so frustrating. It's weird that that's just started coming up, Matt. There's like no talk about Book of Law until like the last week, and it's been like very like frustrating for you and maybe other people. It is a little overpowered compared to its like sister card, so you're definitely not wrong. So there is a company called Immutable X, and Immutable X. Let's see if I get their website. Yeah, so Immutable X is the technology that powers another CCG called Gods Unchained, which is one of the first blockchain-backed card games. And as some of you guys know, blockchain is the logical answer to trading in a digital CCG, because you can prove the ownership of a card, your friend can prove ownership of a card, you can use the blockchain to trade or sell or gift cards to other people without it causing a problem for the developers in terms of duplicate cards and scamming the system and that kind of stuff. So Immutable X just launched their API for other developers, and I've been in touch with one of their developers and I'm researching it. It could potentially, like, as much as I would like to write my own blockchain code, I'm so busy that it might be in my interest to just partner with them and let them handle the blockchain side of stuff so that we could get trading into the game faster. So definitely a cool thing.
That sounds like a very reasonable decision for you to come to.
Yeah.
Because you could do it all yourself, and you would if you could clone yourself, for sure.
Well, another big thing is they seem to offer developer grants to use their technology. So
That's smart.
If they were willing to give me a grant of X amount of dollars where I could hire somebody to help, then I would for sure go with them, just because it's like hiring somebody and not having to write the code and all of that is just would speed everything up. And then we would have our own like trading quicker. Josh says I'd really just partner with them rather than fork an existing blockchain ledger, strip out stuff, build out a potential sidechain. So to be clear, Josh, I wouldn't fork any technology. I would just connect to existing technology using non-fungible tokens and previous standards. So I would have my API able to mint a token on either Ethereum or Tezos, and then my API would also be able to read the blockchain and confirm the ownership. So your user account on Doomtrooper would have a wallet address, and then I would be able to read the blockchain to see which tokens that wallet owns, etc. But that does open up a whole layer of bugs that I would have to deal with that I'm not intimately familiar with. So that's why I lean towards working with them. And they are built on Ethereum, which is the biggest, but I'm a big fan of Tezos, so I was a little bummed about that, but I don't think there's any downsides to working with the biggest blockchain. So, Yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, that's about it. I'm hoping to add a couple new cards, but I don't know which ones this week. Also fixing a few UI elements this week, which would be important. And I'm going to further enhance my error checking so that I can fix bugs on my own faster to make sure that you guys aren't hitting any bugs when you're playing. So, yeah. I'm also going to be converting that glorious Billy Bob's tutorial that he made into an event code file that will be able to load in the game. So you'll be able to do something like load event, new tutorial, and it will load that script, and then people can give feedback on it, and we can make tweaks, push a new one out, and then people can test it in game if they want to test and give feedback, which will be very helpful. So Julie's lost in Twitter world.
Sorry.
Oh, and we have officially kind of started buying ads. We're having some trouble with our Facebook ad account where I can't even make a ticket to tell them. They auto close my tickets, but then they tell me I need to give my tax info to buy ads. But when I try to give my tax info, it tells me I'm not the right person.
I also tried to do this, and it said I wasn't the right person.
I own the company. I created the business page, and I created the ad account, but somehow I'm not the right person on their back end to add this data.
And even if I created the ad account, again, it wouldn't let me do it either, so...
Yeah, and the only other person on the ad account is Steve, and it said he can't do it either. So, I don't understand how Facebook makes their money through ads, but I can't buy ads, but there's no path for me to get a person.
Josh.
Just get a Russian to do it. They seem to have no trouble. Yeah, it's... God, can we assume moving one ability from Mishma Blade to Daisho, that's about getting key powers without spending actions? Yeah, I do think Daisho is going to get a revamp, and Mishma Ceremonial Blade might... There's going to be some sort of mishmash of those abilities to make them more useful, for sure. And post-combat interrupts are on my list of things to start testing. So, fixing the UI for target select, fixing the UI for activating cards from other places, and I forgot the third thing I just said. Post-combat interrupts, because that'll allow us to do Sworn Vengeance, which is the last Mishma card, one of the last Mishma cards, and it's amazing. So that'll be fun. All right, I'm gonna go eat some lunch and watch Saturday Night Live.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm going to be coding today. So thank you guys for hanging out. I will encourage you, as always, to go visit Matano. If I can find him. Raid Matano. No. It's Retro Matano. Right? I don't know why my Twitch doesn't... I follow him, but my Twitch doesn't autocomplete, so...
4. It's not a 0.
He has a 0 in his other name, then.
Retro Matano 4.
Sorry, Matano. We're trying.
He's not here.
I know. But yeah, go watch him play some Doomtrooper and hit me up on Discord with more complaints. Or compliments. If you want to compliment my hair or how wonderful my wife looked today on stream, bring it to Discord.
You don't need to talk about my physical appearance on Discord. It's fine.
And then complain. Butter us up first. So, thanks, guys. And let's go hang out with Matano, and I'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.